All right then. So now what we have to do is since we finished this admin controls over here, you can see we can able to create and manipulate the jobs and company details. Don't worry about this analytics. So we don't have that analytics page yet. We can worry about that analytics page later. So just like the way what we do have in the real-time projects analytics, where what is the total job, total how many job created by users, total companies, company created by user. Okay, and applied jobs like we have certain charts over here in order to display it. Okay, so this analytics page we can worry about it later. And now let's jump into the browse page over here. So this is the page that we are trying to design, where the place where we can able to apply the filters and displaying the jobs and everything, and having different kinds of filtering options over here. And if you apply any specific filter, so we do have this nice animation part, let's say hybrid. See, we have that nice animation, this animation stuff, which is completely done by using the framer motion. So how to implement all these things, let's go ahead and do that. The search options and everything, this is what we are going to do now. Okay, so in order to do that, I'm going to close everything, close all over here, keep it clean and simple. So what I'm going to do is straightly, let me jump into the search. So we are going to create a new route over here. Inside the collapse everything, get into the app dashboards, routes. Inside the routes, we need to create a new page called search. Inside the search, I'm gonna say s page.tsx, and here I'm just going to say sfc, and I'm going to say search page div search page. Save these changes. Let me close this. Okay, now if I click the search, now we are inside the search page. Perfectly fine. Okay, so if you click the search page, you can see what are the different types of search options, search parameters that we do have. We can search the users, search the job by title. We can search the job by using these categories, and we can search the job by date and working schedule, working mode, experience. We have 6 different types of search parameters over here, right? So the entire Sage search page is based on this search props, right? So let's go ahead and create that search props first. So interface search props, open it. Okay, and this is going to have this search params. So we are going to have the search params. So let's go here and go bring the search params. So this search params is going to have an object which is going to be, let's open the schema. So we should not misspell anything. Where is it? Okay, so here it is. Title, copy the title, paste it. Title, of course, it's going to be the string. Then next one, what is it? We need to get the category ID, copy the category ID and paste it, and that is also going to be the string one. Then we need to have the created at filter. So let's keep the created at filter, and that is going to be the string. Then shift timing, what is it? Shift timing work mode. Okay, so let's bring that shift timing work mode and years of experience. These are the things. Okay, shift timing work mode and this years of experience. All these things we have to keep everything over here. Work mode, years of experience. These are the search props. So let's bring it over here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make this page as an asynchronous page, and let's bring that search params over here. Search params, which is coming from where? From the search props. Okay, so inside here, now what I need to do is we need to structure the page. So let's go ahead and structure the page first. So I'm gonna say close this. This is the thing, and here div class name. So the first one is going to be the search container. If you check it out over here, see we have a small search container, but we don't have the search option over there, right? So let's go ahead and bring that, and the same component was loaded here and loaded there. So let's be very careful. So here padding px, of course it's going to be 6, Okay, and padding top, of course, it's going to be slicks, and it should be block on the small devices, and from the medium devices it should be hidden. And md mb0. Okay, for the top, for the time being, I'm gonna cut it out, and later I'm gonna make this some changes. This is the place where we are going to bring the search container. Let's bring the component. So what I'm going to do is, so inside this component is going to be used on the globally as well as, so I'm going to create it in the components folder. So I'm going to say search container.tsx. so let's make this search container.tsx as a client file. So use client and rafc, and let's make this as a search container. Perfect. Okay, so don't worry about the search container props and all those things. For the time being, let's keep it simple. Let's create the division and then let's fix the work. So I'm going to just create a use state over here, and I'm going to say value and set value in order to get that input value over here. Let's create a React fragment, and inside here I'm going to say div class name flex item center, and gap x it's going to be 2, relative and flex it's going to be 1, and let's, for the time being, let's say search container. Save this and let's import it over here from where add component search container. You should be able to see the search container. Perfect. And we don't need to do this here. I'm gonna bring the search icon from the lucid react class name. Height, of course, it's going to be 4. W, of course, it's going to be 4. Text is going to be neutral 500. Okay, or we can keep it as 600, and of course it's always going to be fixed in the absolute position, and from the left side I'm going to move it a little bit further inside. Then I'm going to bring the input from where ./ui/input, and for this input I'm going to supply the placeholder first, which is going to be search for a job using title, something like that. Okay, then I'm going to supply the value for it, which is going to be the value, and on change we're going to get a callback function, and that function going to say set value, which is going to be the target dot target. Oops, so I need to get that event outside from here. Then we can use that over here, e dot target dot value. Okay, so now we have that value. Then now let's use this customize this class name. Okay, so what we can do is, let's add some styles for this. So width, of course, it should be full. That's it. No matter what, it should be full. And padding left, it should move further, PL9. These are just the adjustments that you can do as you wish. Rounded LG, and BG, of course, it's going to be purple 50 and slash 80% of the 50 color, and focus visible ring purple. Whenever it is focusing, I need to make that outline little bit darker purple. Text is some. Save these changes, and you should be able to see something like this. Now if I click inside, you can see we having that ring highlighted because of this focus visible ring, which is looking perfectly superb. Okay, and I need to, if I'm typing something here, I need to bring that X icon. So what I can do is enter, open it over here. Oh, come on. Okay, so now over here, let's get the value. If I do have the value, then right over here I need to bring the button. Let's bring the button from the button component, ui.button. This is supposed to be 2 times, yes. And inside this, for this, I'm going to say variant, which is going to be the ghost variant, and right over here size of that, it's going to be the icon size, and inside here this should be the type of button. And whenever I'm clicking this on click, I'm going to call a callback function. Then I'm going to say set that value as an empty, set the value as empty. So now inside here I need to bring that X icon, which is coming from Lucid React itself, class name. And let's say width, of course, it's 4. Height, of course, it's going to be 4. Save these changes. And now you can see that button over there. Okay. And for this button, let's write some styles over here. Class name. Cursor, of course, it's going to be pointer, and it is completely outside of the search box. Let's bring it inside, out, absolute, and right. From the right side, it needs to come inside a little bit. And on hover, let's bring the scale to 125, something like this. Now it is inside, and if I bring it, you can see it is maximized a bit. Okay, so on hover for this, it is having some background animations over there. The hover effects are there, so let's remove it. And hover BG should be transparent. I don't want that BG at all, completely. Now that looks perfectly fine. Look at that. Perfect. So now we have the search container, and this search container needs to be displayed only on the mobile screen, because right now we don't need it, because we will have the search container on the home, the header over here. So this needs to be disabled. So what we can do is, so let's say this needs to be hidden on the medium devices. It should be hidden, and medium devices, the margin bottom should be 0. Oops, medium. Perfect. Now you will not see that. Later we'll worry about that. Let's bring this part over here. Okay, otherwise what we can do, let's display it over there also. So if you wish to display it over here, so that is nothing but our navbar routes. So if you search for navbar something, routes, so this is the place where we are switching between the admin and client mode. So right over here, what I need to do is I need to copy this and paste it, and this is going to be is search page. If it is search page, if it is include the search, I need to display that same. If it is search page, then I need to display a division, a division which is going to be displayed. Initially it should be hidden, but from the medium devices onwards it should be displayed as a flex with the full px2, padding right, which is going to be 8, and item center and gap x, it's going to be 6. And inside this division I'm gonna bring that search container. Save these changes. Now you should be able to see that search container over there. Perfect. And when you're bringing it to the mobile screen, you will not able to see that over there, but it will be displayed on the big screen. Perfect. All right, that looks perfectly fine. This is what all we needed. Okay. All right, so now let's get back to the page.tsx. Okay, so now what we have to do is to fetch the jobs. We have to fetch the jobs, and we have to get the jobs from the details based on the query params, whatever we are wish to apply on the later purposes, right? So that's the thing. So let's get back over here. I'm gonna create a new folder on the root called actions. Inside this actions, I'm gonna say get jobs.ts. Okay, perfect. All right, so now here, first let's create the types. Type get jobs, that's the type. So what are the things that we need to have? So inside this get jobs type, so we need to have the title, category ID, all those things which we used over here. Copy this, copy from here, exactly, make sure that all of them are same, and make it everything as an optional, because if you're not sending anything, we need to fetch everything which is published. If you are sending any one of this, we need to filter it based on this field, the specific field, right? Okay, title, category ID, created at filter, and shift timing, work mode, and years of experience. Okay, perfect. And include one more thing in this, which is the saved jobs, which we don't have yet, because but might be in the future we might also that one also save jobs based on the whether the user saved it or not, because we need to display somewhere the saved jobs by the users, right, for the later purpose. That's the reason we have to add that one also. Don't worry, I'm just creating a types. Later we are going to implement everything one by one later in it. Okay, we are not simply copying everything and putting into it, right? So here I'm just going to say export const get jobs is equals to an asynchronous function, open it. Okay, and inside this I'm gonna break it, and I'm going to get the jobs from this interface, and it is going to return a promise. It's going to return a promise, which is the type of the job itself, and it's going to be array. Okay, so don't worry about this error because we haven't returned anything. That's the reason you're getting that error. So inside here, let's bring the title, let's bring the category ID, then let's bring the created ad, then let's bring the shift timing and the work mode, then years of experience, then we have to bring the save jobs too. All right, so inside here now I need to get the user ID. So const is equals to auth. Let's get the user ID, and right after here let's open the try and catch. Okay, so inside the try and catch, if there is any error, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to say console.log, and I'm gonna print this error get underscore jobs. In this we are getting some error, and we are just simply going to display that error over here. Save these changes, don't worry about that issue, we can fix that type error later. If there is any specific error, I'm just going to return the empty array. If there is no mistakes, then we can directly jump into here. Next, what I need to do is I'm gonna initialize the query. What we are trying to do, initialize the query object. We are trying to initialize the query object with some common options. Not for every query we don't have to change, we have to change some stuff, but we do have some common stuffs, right, which is going to be we have to fetch the company categories and attachments, and we have to arrange all the details based on the created dates in a descending order. Then every job should be a published job, right? So let's go ahead and create that. So here now what we are going to do, I'm going to create a query. Let query with the type of any equals to open it. So the query by default, it is going to say where is going to say is published. So make sure the schema and copy this is published. It should be a published job. So is published should be true. Then I need to include the data along with that, which is going to be, I need to include the company details, get the company, which is going to be true. Then I need to include the category details, which is going to be this, include that one also as a true. Then I need to include the attachments, that is also need to be included along with the data which we are trying to fetch. Okay, include. All right, and the at the end order by, which is going to be an instance, as well as I forget the comma over here, that's the reason, order by. So make sure the order by spelling is correct. Okay, and the place everywhere we are using this created at only. Copy this created at. Order by should be equals to this created at in the descending order, DESC. So this is what the query object should looks like. These are some common options. Now let's execute this query where over here without any filters only we need to display the data, right? So here this is now what we are going to do. We are going to execute the query to fetch the jobs based on the constructed parameters. So far we haven't constructed any parameters, nothing with just common options. So const jobs is equals to await db dot, let's import the db dot job dot find many, open it, then let's apply the query into it, and at the end you should return the jobs. So now once you return the jobs, you will not get any issues from the jobs parameters. All right, perfect. This is what all we need to do. Okay, so far we haven't used this title category ID, nothing. So let's go here, get to the page. Okay, so now what we need to do right after here, I'm gonna get the categories along, because we, so if you check it out over here, so we have to display these categories, and as well as we need to display these jobs. So let's get both of the details now. So const categories is equals to await db dot category dot find many, open it, order it by, open it, and let's keep the category by name in the ascending order or descending order, whatever you order you want, you can keep it in that way. So now we have the categories. Okay, and now here next what I need to do is I need to get the user ID as well as, because we need to send the user ID somewhere inside, later we need to use this. So let's get the user ID as well as user ID. Then I need to get the jobs. Const jobs is equals to await get jobs, and this is going to get the objects from where, from the search params. Let's destructure the search params and send it inside. So we made everything as the optional only, so please make sure all these optional things are enabled, otherwise you will get an error. Okay, so far I haven't sent any parameters inside to it, so it is going to ignore all these things and simply using this common option, and it's going to fetch the data and it's going to send it back. So here I'm just going to say if there is an error right now, we will get that error, but so far we don't get any errors over here, which means everything is working perfectly as it's supposed to be. Categories, jobs and categories, if you check in your console, you should be able to see these are the categories, right? These are the list of categories, and if you check it out over here, we are getting the jobs as well as, which means the data is working perfectly. And now all we have to do is to go ahead and display this data, this exact same data, and that is what we are going to do now. And before moving into that, we are going to display this categories now. So let's go ahead and create that categories first, and then we can come back and we can finish the product. Okay, so right after this division, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a div with padding of 6. Then this is the place where we need to display the categories. This is the place where we need to apply display the applied filters. Then this is going to be our page content. Okay, so now let's go ahead and fix this categories. So I'm going to create categories. Okay, all right, so let's go ahead and create the categories first. Okay, so let's get back over here, and inside the search, create a new folder and name that folder as underscore components underscore components. Yep, and here I'm going to create that containers list dot tsx. Okay, so this is going to be the use client. Okay, and here now what we can say is going to be rafc containers containers list. Okay, so save this, and here we can, oops, not that one, containers, ah, that is not containers list, categories list, my bad, categories list. And let's rename it over here also, categories list. Yep, save the changes, and let's get that categories list from there, import it, perfect. And now we should be able to see the categories list, perfect. All right, so let's create the interface. So interface for what? Categories list props, open it. I'm gonna get the categories over here, which is going to be the type of category from the Prisma client, and it's going to be array. And let's destructure it, and I'm gonna get the categories from where? From the categories list props. Okay, and let's send the categories inside over here, supply the categories. Now you will not get the type error. Let's get back over here, and this is going to be we need to add some divisions styles for this particular division class name, which is going to be flex item center and and it's going to have a gap between each and element. It's going to be 2, and overflow x, it's going to be autumn, and padding bottom, it's going to be 2, and scroll bar. So in order to get that scroll bar, we need to install the scroll bar, right? So if you wish to get that scroll bar, we need to install this tailwind scroll bar. If you search for here, tailwind scroll bar, this is the one that we need to install, and we need to configure it over here, something like that. So I'm going to say npm install this one, copy this, get into here, node, install it, install, npm install it. Now it's installed, and let's get into the tailwind config.js. okay, inside the tailwind config.js, we have to configure that. Wait a moment, wait, tailwind config, scroll all the way to the bottom. Yep, inside the plugins, I need to include this required, this one also, right? Add the comma over here and add that one. Save these changes, close it, and now you should be able to see the scroll bar none. Yep, so because it's going to display that, because here you can see we have this scroll bar, right? So I don't want to so we have the scroll container. I don't want to display the scroll bar over here, which looks quite awkward. I don't want that scroll bar. So save these changes. So if the user wants to scroll, he can use this. If you're using Windows or anything, if you scroll shift and scroll up and down, you can scroll left and right. Or if you're simply using Mac, you can scroll it left and right easily. All right, so now we have that categories list with the scroll container. So let's get into the categories list now. Okay, so here what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the category item. Okay, I need to display the category item over here. So let's close this, and let's say enter, open it, categories dot map, open it. I'm going to get the category from out of it, value bracket, enter, because we are going to render it, and I'm going to get the category item, which we don't have yet. Don't worry, let's create it. Let's go here and let's create a new category list item dot tsx or afc, and let's say category list item, save it, and let's bring that category list item. All right, let's apply the key, which is going to be your category dot id. Okay, let's get back over here and let's create the interface for your category item, so which we need the complete category inside, which is going to be the use client. Okay, then Here I'm going to say interface category list item props, open it. I'm gonna get the label, which is going to be the string. Then I'm gonna get the value, and that is also going to be the string. Save these changes, and let's get over here and let's destructure the label and the value from where? From the category list props. Save it. And now let's get back over here and let's apply the label and the value property. So the label, which is going to be label, which is nothing but your category dot name, and the value, which is going to be category dot value, or category yeah, value is the ID, only the value. Yep. So save it. Now you should able to see we have the category list item, something like that, right? So let's get back over here. Okay, so now inside the category item, so if you check it out over here, see when I click this, it is applying that. Okay, now it's asking me to log in. Refresh. I think the session token has been ended. Okay, so see, it has been applying that specific filter, and if you check it out on the search bar, you can see it is searching with the query param called category ID with that specific category ID. And in the applied filters, you can able to see we having the category ID filters, and it's simply saying no jobs found, right? So let's go ahead, and that is what we need to do now. Okay, so over here, now what I'm going to do is delete this. I'm going to bring a button at components, and this is going to be type of button itself. Okay, and on click, I'm going to map this on click function, which we haven't yet created. Then class name, so we should bring the class name because we need to style something. So we need to figure it out whether that is selected or not selected, right? So we need to figure it out. So in order to do that, what we have to do is we need to first let's create the common styles, then we can write the bring the C in. Let me enable the word wrap so you can see it clear. So open it, let's write the normal styles. So I don't want that white space should not be wrapped, so text size should always be the small, and tracking in between the space should be wider, tracking wider, and the text should be muted foreground. And I need the border, let's bring the border, and px it's going to be 2, py it's going to be 2 pixels. So let's add our custom styles, 2 pixels. Okay, then after here it should be rounded medium. When I'm hovering it, the bg should be purple 700, right? Then when I'm hovering it, text should be in the white color, and everything should have proper transition animations. Cursor should be pointer, and hover we need to have the shadow, which is going to be the medium. Okay, these are all the common styles. Let's go ahead and create this on click event. Inside here, I'm gonna say const on click. For the time being, I'm gonna create an empty function. Okay, save these changes. Okay, now we need to figure it out whether this button, you can see we have the multiple buttons. So inside this button, what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring that label. Okay, so you can see we having that, and if you check it out, this is what we have, and we need to make some changes over here. So I'm going to change the variant of this button, which is going to be outline. This is how it looks, something like this. Okay, the styles, everything, it looks like this, so which is working perfectly. So now we need to figure it out whether this button is selected or not. So in order to get that, I'm gonna bring some quite hooks over here. So I'm gonna first I need to get the path name path name is equals to use path name from next navigation, because we need to figure out which path name that we are. Then we need to get the const router is equals to use router from where, from the next navigation. Then I need to get the search params from search params from use search params from the next navigation. Okay, save it. So I need to, so if you are clicking something, for instance, if I click cloud computing, so that is going to push the user to that specific category ID. You can see we have that category ID over there. So I need to get that current category ID first. So what I'm going to say, const current category ID is equals to search params dot get, open it. So what is the search param? It's going to be the search params. Of course, it's going to be this category ID. Supply the category ID in it. Okay. And later we will have the title as well as. So let's get the title as well as for the right now, and current title. Okay. So here, all I have to do is to const is selected. So which means if the current category ID is equals to the value whatever which is coming inside, then which means that particular ID is selected. So is that a case? Over here I'm going to simply add comma, and I'm just going to say if it is selected. If it is selected, then I need to have the bg purple as 700, text should be white, and I need to have the shadow medium. So save these changes. Now on click, we need to push the user with this specific query param over here. So in order to do that, we need to have a very specific package called query string. So let's go ahead and install that one. So let's say npm install the query string. So hit the enter. So this is the package that we need to download. So it's downloaded. So let's go ahead and import that one. Import qs from where? From the query string. So make sure that a default one and the installed one, we need to use this one. That is what we installed. Okay. So inside this on click function, now what we need to do is I'm gonna get const URL is equals to qs dot stringify URL, open it, open the object, and inside here now I need to supply the URL which is going to be the path, path name. Then I need to create the query which is going to be, so title, if there is any current title, we can send the current title directly, or if you have the category ID, where it is, get this category ID and supply the, if it is selected, if it's selected, it should be null. If it is not selected, you should give that value. So which means if I click this, it is not selected, so it will highlight it. If I click it again, it is already selected, so we need to deselect it, just like here. See, we have to remove it, jump something like that. That is what we are trying to do over here, right? That is how the query will be built over here. Then I need to say skip null. Of course, if it is that, if the value is null, simply skip it, because we know that we don't have the current title. So if it is skip, if it is null, skip this query param. If this if the empty string is also there, simply skip it. So skip null value and skip empty string. Okay. Why we are getting this error? Oops, this is supposed to be right after here. That's why, right after this. Okay, something like this. This is how it should looks like. Then after this one, I need to push the user to that specific router. So you will push the user to that specific route. Now if I say over here, if I click accounting, see, we are in that specific route, search category with that specific. If I click this again, that will be removed. Bingo, business analyst. If you click that again, it will be removed. Cloud computing, see, it is going to push the user to that cloud computing, and if you remove it, it will be removed. All right, so don't worry, in the local host it will look a little bit slower, but when you're deployed it will be faster. No issues. Okay, so this is all about the categories and the search container. The search container is not working yet because we need to write the code for that, but the category will work, because once you start displaying the products and everything, this is going to filter the data because of this search param, because inside the search param we have the category id, and that will be passed over here. So the data will fetch the data based on the category id. Whenever you are clicking it, this route will be regenerated, and it will fetch the data and it will display it. It will work perfectly. So next, what we are going to do, we are going to display the products over here, and that's what we are going to do now.